Welcome to Special Methods lecture. So special methods are also known as magic methods or dunder methods, which is short for a double underscore. And what they have here is a double underscore on either end, hence they're called sometimes dunder methods. So an instance of a class can perform various operations such as iteration, addition, or deletion if the class contains special methods. And this is known as operator overloading. So don't worry, you'll shortly learn what the operator overloading really means. And lastly, if an instance derived from a class that has special methods, then built-in Python functions such as next and len can be applied to the instance if the class contains the associated special methods, which in this case are next and len. Okay, so let's take a look at this link here. And it's a link to a website called holisticcoding.com. And there's a blog here called Demystifying Special Methods. So the web address is holisticcoding.com/demystifying special methods. And essentially it's a blog version of this lecture, but with a little bit extra here and there. So if you want to check that out, I strongly recommend you do so. Okay, so let's go back to the Jupyter Notebook and let's answer this question of what the operator overloading really means. So we can answer that with a very simple example. So we have x equals 10, y equals 25, run that. And if I do is instance, we do x int, we get true. Similarly, if I do y, we also get true. Now the reason being, of course, is because both x and y are instances of the int class. And if I were to do, let's say, x plus y, we get 35. If I do x multiplied, we get 250. If I do x minus y, we get minus 15. If I do x divided by y, we get 0.4. So what's happening here essentially is a form of operator overloading. So both x and y are instances of the int class, and when we're applying different operators to these instances, we get different outputs. And that's essentially what operator overloading is. So you're using different operators on the same instances, and you're getting different outputs. Okay, so let's say I want to do dir, which is a built-in Python function, and we'll have the x integer, and I get all of these special methods in this list here. And you can tell it's special methods because it has these double underscores on either end. And if I scroll down, you can see it's extremely lengthy, and you can see I also have the methods or functions within this list here for the x integer. Alright, so let's say I want to have num equal to a list, so 10, 25, and 400. So it's got 3 integers in here. So if I do len num, I get 3, unsurprisingly. But if I do is instance num list, I'm obviously going to get true, and that's because num is a list derived from the list class, so it's an instance of it. Alright, so let's say I want to do dir, and I have num this time, and what I'm looking for is the len special method. So if I can find it here, it's right here. So len with the 2 double underscores, so it's a special method, and because it's there in the list class, I can use the len built-in Python function to output the number of integers in this list, which of course is 3, as you can see here. Alright, so let's create 2 classes, and this should hopefully solidify your understanding of what special methods are along with the blog as well. So let's say we have calculator, and then we'll do our init self x, and then we'll do self.x equals x. And then we'll have what you typically would associate with basic arithmetic. So we're going to have add val, and then we'll have return self.x plus val.x. And then we'll have sub for subtraction. So it's very similar. It's almost entirely the same except for the operator that's being used. In this case it's going to be minus val.x. And then we'll have mul return self.x multiply val.x. And then we'll have just 2 more. So it's going to be the division one, so true div return self.x. It's going to be divided by val.x. And lastly, floor division. That's going to be floor div. Okay, great. And then we're going to create two instances of our calculator class. So A equals calculator. We'll have, let's say, 34. And B equals calculator. Let's say we have 12. Run that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just scroll down here and make some space. And we're going to make some space also in this cell. We're going to have 5 print statements for each of the 5 special methods. So just left click whilst holding the control and print. We'll have A plus B, and then I'll change this one to a minus, this one to a multiply, and this one to a divide, and this one to a floor division. So as you can see here, we've got the outputs just like we had before with the X and Y. Alright, so you probably guessed right that if I were to do A dot tab, you get 34. If I do B dot tab with the, let's say, plus sign, you get 46. So essentially what's happening is that we're grabbing the attributes from both of these instances and adding them together using an operator. Alright, so let's create another class. This is going to be called the animal class. So I have class, animal, and then we'll have, of course, the init, self, species, age, and so we have self species equals species, self dot age equals age, self dot index equals 0, it's the default value, and also we're going to have a list of pets. So Gracie, Tommy, let's say Gizmo, Enzo, Gilbert, and Mary, which should be lowercase, Mary. Alright, and then we're going to have several special methods, and they're going to be string, and we'll do, let's say, return, I'm a super cute something, dot format, self dot species, and then we'll have, let's say, len, and it's going to be self, and then we'll do, let's say, return len self dot pets. We'll have get item self none rather. Return self dot pets. This is going to be able to index the pets list, and then we'll do del for delete. So it's going to delete the actual instance. So we just put self in there. And then we also want to iterate. So just do next self word equals self dot pets, self dot index plus equals 1, and then return word. Okay, I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. So we're just going to put a few more special methods in here. And we'll have, let's say, del item. So this is the opposite of get item. Well, essentially. Okay, so we're going to have num as a variable. And then we'll have del self pets num. And then we'll have also get slice num1, num2, return self dot pets num1 and num2, and then lastly we'll have call, and this enables us to treat the instance that we create from the animal class as an actual function. So we'll have for I in range self dot pets. Let's do self.pets prints I. Alright, that should be good to go. Hopefully I've got no errors there. So if you need to, pause the video and just make sure you have all of the code correctly typed out, especially the double underscores. It's very easy to make a mistake there. Alright, so I'm going to make some instances. I'm going to make 2 instances of the animal class. And we'll have cat equals animal. And let's say we have just cats, and let's say I do 2. And dog equals animal, dog, 3. In fact, I'm actually going to change this to, let's say, kitten. Just makes it a bit easier to distinguish, and puppy. Okay. Then if I do cat, you can see I've got main, to animal, and let's say I have print cat and print dog. Run that. So I'm a super cute kitten, I'm a super cute puppy. So the print statement is from the string special method here. And let's say I want to do cat.pets, so I get the class attribute here, and we have Gracie all the way to Mary, and if I do the len, I should get 6 altogether, so len, cats, and I get 6. That's because I have 6 pets basically in that pets list. And let's say I want to index, so if I have cats.pets, and I want to get, say, for instance, Tommy. So all I do is cat 1, and I get Tommy. Or I can do 2, and I get Gizmo. And let's say I want to get, for instance, just Gizmo and Enzo. All I can do is 3, and that should be 0, 1, 2. So I'll put that as 2. And that should be 4. So Gizmo and Enzo. Alright, and let's say, for instance, I want to remove a particular name. So I want to get rid of Gilbert's. So what I can do is, in fact, I'll just do it here. I'll have del cats 4. And now if I check cats.pets, I don't have Gilbert anymore. And consequently, if I do len cats, I should only get 5, which I do. Okay, and let's say, for instance, I want to have dog and put the parentheses here, and that's going to be using the call special method. So it's this one here. And if I run that with the parentheses, I get the for loop here. Now note that the call special method doesn't depend upon this at all. This is not necessary. It's just that I'm using this here. It could be anything really. It could be a while loop, it could be a list, or anything else. Okay. Now let's say I want to iterate. So I can iterate over the dog instance. So I do next dog. So I get Gracie, Tommy, Gizmo, Enzo, Gilbert, and obviously Mary. And then I get, instead of a stop iteration, I get an index error, as you can see here. Alright, and that should really be it for this lecture. Hopefully that's been insightful, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the Q&A. I recommend that you check out the blog and give a go at perhaps adding some more special methods to this animal class here. Okay, that concludes my lecture. Thanks very much.